Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. So, Twitter is a fun place, and something you may have seen if you go on there a lot is someone using the term ratio when they're arguing back and forth with somebody. Most of the time, people are joking about it, but sometimes people just comment the word ratio, and you'll see, you know, but what does that even mean? You know, Twitter is not the only place with this ratio thing, but it is, I would say, it's arguably more common on there. Essentially all that means is, well, there's a couple of different ways that people go about saying what that is. So I'd say the most common one is the reply comment to a post gets more likes. Another one that I've seen people say it as is if you look at the distribution between comments, quote tweets, likes, and there's more quote tweets or comments than there are likes, then that's been ratioed. Some people will say that you shouldn't care about it, that ratios mean nothing. And in a sense, that's not wrong because in the grand scheme of things, ratioing somebody isn't going to like pass legislation. It's not going to change rules in society or anything like that. But what it does do, what I would argue makes it a good thing, is it's sort of a signifier as to not to say what opinions are acceptable, but I guess you could say the opinions of the masses. And some people would argue that that's a bad thing. Mob mentality isn't something you should fall to or anything like that. Just because everyone says it's the right thing to do, you should be your own person or, whatever kind of rugged individuality you want to believe in. To a degree, I understand that. I don't think that you should believe something just because everyone says you should believe something. You should believe something because it's true or because it's right. And, right is subjective for a lot of people. They'll say, that depends on your morality or, your ethics method or whatever kind of crazy way they want to spin the things you believe in or trying to justify the things they believe in. So, why am I even talking about ratios? If you stay on Twitter, if you're into the whole like online Twitch sphere of debates and politics and all that, three people were involved. Two of them, I would argue, are a little bit more well known. Destiny and Lauren Southern, and they're going back and forth with a streamer who goes by Keffals. Now, Keffals is the one who I would say was the target of their whole complaining about being ratioed on Twitter or saying ratios don't matter. And this all was in defense of trans rights and, you know, basically fostering a community online where people can feel comfortable and safe. Now, that's not to say this is about, pushing opinions you don't like just away from you, but this is about going online and I guess you could say knowing that people, not to say that they agree with you, but they're willing to defend you in the face of people who are essentially just trying to, be rude. Now, I'm not saying that being rude to somebody is enough to take their job or something like that, but if you spend all your time talking down about people or, pushing people down, and then all of a sudden you get a side of the internet that is willing to defend you, willing to say that this is wrong and we shouldn't do this, that can do a lot for you. That can make you feel like you're not alone. And I think that's a good thing. We spend a lot of our time isolated, so realizing that you're not alone, that there are people out there who accept you is good. And as far as, this whole ratios don't matter because it doesn't change anything in the real world, I've talked before about getting into arguments with people online and how most of the time when you get into those kind of arguments, you're not going to change the mind of the person that you're arguing with. But in any kind of public forum, there are going to be people who go through that after the fact or even during the argument. And they'll see what's being said, and that might change someone else's mind. I would argue the same thing can be said about, ratioing people online. There could be people who see what's being said, realize that, well, a lot more people agree with this opinion than that opinion, and that might make them read a little more. Why is that? What does this opinion even mean? How can I learn more to figure out why people agree with this? I think that's a beautiful thing, just this act of voicing your opinion or voicing your approval on an opinion can change people's mind that you don't even know about. So if you're going to complain about saying ratios don't matter, that's because you got ratioed and you don't like that, because that means your opinions are, not to say less than, but less approved. So, maybe it makes you feel like you're being left behind, or you don't like the idea that you need to change, but we all have to change at some point, and hopefully you can get there. But y'all have a good day.